It is back to school in Westminster and a new term for returning MPs. But from a range of the Prime Minister's Tory classmates, some remarkably low marks for her summer project, the Brexit Chequers plan. The former Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson, using his Telegraph column to blast that plan. Mr Johnson claiming that the Prime Minister is going into battle with Brussels with a white flag flying, and his acolytes taking to the studios to take up the charge.
Certainly couldn't vote for the Chequers proposal or an evolved version of it after its survived encounter with the European Commission and the Member States. It would be very peculiar to resign over it and then walk through the lobbies in favour of it.
The Brexit Select Committee were in Brussels meeting with the EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, and found themselves in rare agreement with the Commission that Chequers is not going to cut it.
Mr Barnier was, as you would expect, extraordinarily charming and well informed, and he and I found we were in considerable degree of agreement that Chequers is absolute rubbish and that we should chuck it, and what we should have is a Canada-style free trade deal. I mean, he seemed to think that was the way forward and has published charts showing that. So, interestingly, Eurosceptics and Mr Barnier are in greater agreement than Eurosceptics in the government or Mr Barnier in the government.
Former cabinet ministers too from the opposite side of the Tory spectrum joined in the Chuck Chequers theme.
Well, I think the Prime Minister has got two options. Either she can show some leadership and accept that, although tabled with the best of intentions, the Chequers deal is now dead, and then spend the next 2 months working through an alternative route. People are making their own suggestions, like myself, like Boris, like Nick Bowles. Or she can waste the next 2 months shuttling around Europe for a deal that no one wants and that you can't get through Parliament. I think it's going to be a difficult party conference, but the thing that concerns me most is our Parliament actually being prepared to find a route through for the British people and being honest about the fact that we are gridlocked.
There are currently 20 Tory MPs signed up to the Stand Up for Brexit campaign. They're promising to throw themselves in front of the Chequers deal train to vote against it if necessary. And that would mean Theresa May would need 14 opposition MPs to come over and get her up to the magic 320 that gives her a majority of 1. But if the pro-Brexit Tory MPs are right, and there are actually 60 or more of them ready to rebel against the deal, that would mean Theresa May needs 50+ Labour MPs and other opposition MPs to bail her out.
The truth is we know that there are quite a number of my colleagues who are more hard-line leavers who have already said they will not support it. And so I think that we all have a responsibility to come up with another plan that could command the support of a majority of the House of Commons.
His plan involves spending a few years in a close relationship with the EU like Norway's before moving to a more distant one. But the weeks since the Chequers deal was agreed by the Cabinet have seen some unity break out in the warring wings of the Tory party. More and more Tory MPs seem to agree that the deal signed off here is all but dead.
Well, these are the 4 pillars of Theresa May's Chequers deal, each attracting criticism from various quarters. So let's take you through them. First, maintaining a common rulebook for all goods. That's not it, is it? Justine Greening called it the worst of both worlds, complying with EU rules but not shaping them. A customs agreement, which would mean Britain collects its own and EU duties at the UK border. The EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, said that would require insane and unjustifiable bureaucracy. Joint jurisdiction, meaning UK courts pay heed to EU case law. Jacob Rees-Mogg says, in effect, Parliament will have no say over future EU laws that are implemented here in the UK. And finally, setting up a framework to allow UK and EU citizens to work in each other's countries. Michel Barnier again says that if the UK wants any of the benefits of the single market, it has to accept freedom of movement without any qualifications.